All right, so we are now in our second session of the day. This is officially called How to Scare Off the Assessment Assassins. This is hosted by our assessment developers, Karen Bird and Roxanne Alexander Arnson, who are going to walk us through that. And on that note, I am going to stop talking and turn it over to the two of them.
Thank you, Julie. I'll take this opportunity to introduce our lovely, amazing, talented, and wonderfully creative my co-assessment developer, Roxanne, and I'm going to let her talk to you a little bit about what the assessment assassins are, where that idea came from, and how it sort of was brought to be. And then we'll kind of talk to you a little bit about how to combat those assassins. So take it away, Roxanne.
Thanks, Karen. I have to give a shout out too. So Karen is my partner in crime and my work wife, my assessment wife. So thank you, Karen. Like Karen said, we came up with this idea of assessment assassins a little over a year ago. We were sitting in a CART meeting, which is our college assessment review team meeting, and we were kind of discussing some of the struggles that folks have shared with us about assessment. And one of the kind of the reoccurring themes was, well, people just give excuses, and people like, these are the things that I'm hearing when people don't complete their assessment, or the folks that are maybe dragging their feet a little bit to complete their assessment. And as people were talking, I'm a note taker, so I was writing down the notes and writing down the comments that people were saying. And as they started to say these comments, I started to formulate little visual images in my mind of cartoon characters who would say these particular phrases. And then I started to develop little characters to go along with them. And in my head, they were just little comic strip people who developed these personalities. So it started with confused Charlie, who was very confused about assessment and doesn't understand how to do it and doesn't know where to get the information. And I pictured kind of like Charlie Brown with a little question mark floating above his head. And so it just kind of developed from there, the personalities that are assassins who assassinate our efforts to do assessment work. And with that idea in mind, we developed a quiz, which you may have seen at Assessment Week last year, where you could kind of like a Cosmo quiz, you could, or BuzzFeed, you could take the quiz and identify with one of these assassins. And then we provided some solutions on how you could combat these assassins in your life. And I think that all of us are all of the assassins, right? There's days where we get confused. There's days where we're too busy to accomplish one more thing. There's days where I get frustrated, like, why do I have to do this? And how do I get it done? So I think, and then there's Alexis. She is our toxic positivity assassin. And I think oftentimes I'm an Alexis. I'm like, everybody, let's just assess. Like, isn't it fun to assess? Don't you love filling out these forms? So I think all of us can be all of these assassins at some point. So learning some strategies on how to overcome the assassins, learning some tricks and some treats of how to improve our assessment efforts can be really beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things we also want to make sure that everyone gets is that I put the link to the quiz in there. And it's not necessarily that you are the assassin, although we all tend to have those parts of them. It's more so what assassin is getting in your way, right? Because we all have those inner voices that sort of get there. And so one of the things that we've done is we've kind of taken this idea and we've expanded it. So I'm going to put right now into the chat a link to a website. And when you click on that website, let me see if I can share my screen with you. Oh, I can. Look at me. I'm so fancy. How do I want to do this? Hold on. Before I share it, let me decide which page I want to share it on. Okay, hold on. I'm going to do it like this. Sorry, you would think that I don't do this all the time for my students, but apparently I have to think through. All right, so here we go. I am going to share my screen with you.
But you're part of our very first group. You get to be the the very first preview group to
You
check.
are the preview
awesome
group. And I
data.
think what we're going to do is kind of maybe do this together and use the chat. So are you all seeing my screen right now? It says, perfect. So you'll see here, when you go to that website, you've got the assessment assassin, tricks and treats. And this activity does work best on a desktop. I discovered that because of the way it's set up using Google Slides, it really does need a larger screen to function. So basically the idea behind this is it's an escape room, it's a mission, it's an activity, it's a game to kind of help you combat some assassins and to collect a bag of treats. And so each of those is kind of an assessment nugget, a resource, something to help you. So basically the gear offices, right? We love our acronyms. The gear offices are under attack. They're experiencing a delay in assessment services because of an infiltration of these assessment assassins. And so our job is to stop them from interrupting planning, blocking doing, sidelining studying, and preventing us from acting, right? So our mission is to eradicate them. And so we get to click here. We accept our mission. I'm assuming you're all on board to accept this mission. I'm going to make my participant screen large. And again, we'll use the chat to help kind of do this. You can unmute yourself. We are a team of assassin fighters, assassin eliminators, vanquishers, so to speak. But so they've jammed up the gears, right, with a series of items, and we need to correctly answer a series of assessment related questions to move us from floor to floor in the gear offices. And with each of the assessment assassins that we vanquish, we will receive a lovely little treat. So here we
Karen,
go. Yeah,
can you make it a little bit, can you? like,
bigger.
Yeah, that would be. Make your browser, go to the three dots in the upper right-hand corner and make that and do zoom in. Let's see if that, oh, not that button.
Oh, wrong button, sorry. You know, maybe I can just do this. There we go.
Oh, excellent, thank you.
No, that's perfect, thank you. Oops, I went too far, bridge too far. Oh no, bridge too far still. There we go, now we have all the wings. But yeah, so we're gonna grab our bag, and this is available for you to do later as well, but we figure let's do it together. So we're gonna grab our little bag. You can see all the items in there that are mucking up the works, so to speak. So let's grab our bag and let's go. Oh, all right, we're getting on the elevator. Here we go. Oh no, it's an assassin. She's dressed as a witch. True or false? Assessment is only for faculty, is only in the classroom, and is the responsibility of faculty only. So let's go ahead, let's use the chat. True or false, put a T, put an F, put whatever you think is the best option there. We got some falses, we got some falses. False, 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 but I'm going to be contrary. I'm going to say true. Oh no, not quite. And you all are absolutely correct, right? From academic affairs to student affairs, to student life, right? To student support. Assessment is actually a much larger commitment, and it falls on to all of us for that responsibility. So we got to go back. Hopefully she's still there. Oh, there she is. All right, and that is false, correct? Woo, look at us, we vanquished her. Whew, she's gone. And let's collect our item. And the duct tape is because, you know, assessment, Alexis, you know, she's a little chatty. She's talking a little bit too much about assessment. So our object that we get from her is duct tape. I'll let you take from that what you will. All right, so each one of these we add is actually going to represent a tool we will receive once we've gotten them all. So next one, true or false? I don't have to know everything there is to know about assessment. Put it all into the chat, true or false? Absolutely, right? Kurt's got it. Right, true, we don't have to know everything. So click on that, poof, look at us, we vanquished confused Charlie. And so we're gonna pick up our hula hoops and we're gonna add them to our bag. All right, true or false? Assessment is too hard. Let's go ahead and throw that answer in the chat. Absolutely false. Oh wait, I accidentally hit true. Assessment can be quite challenging, but it definitely doesn't have to be too hard. The more you know, and the more help you seek, the easier it will become. So let's go back. Oh, good, Darcy's still there. False, absolutely. Poof, we get our easy buttons, then we keep on going. Add that to our bag of tricks. All right, here's the next one. There are resources available to help me understand assessment. True or false? Yes, true, absolutely. We made him a clown, but I didn't want him to be too clowny on account of I didn't want it to scare anyone. Absolutely, good job. We vanquished explain Ezekiel, and you'll notice on all of these, if you come back and spend some time, it actually has a nice description of each of them as well. And we're sort of speeding through because I want you to get to see it all. But we're going to add our bag to our bag of tricks. All right, true or false? I don't have time for assessment. False, 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 false. You all are so good. Like you see through my questions.
Like the see-through sheet.
Right? Absolutely. And you're right. We vanquished Busy Betty. And we can click on that calendar and add it to our bag. Right. And we have our merman here. This is my favorite of the costumes. But assessment is only about compliance. True or false? Absolutely. It is false. And you'll see here we've got our phone because that's Phone It In Philip. He's only doing assessment because he's ticking the boxes. He's not spending time thinking about student learning improvement. He is just there to do the bare minimum. All right, and then moving right along. True or false? Assessment is important. Thank you for the Phone It In. Yeah. All right, here we go. True, it is important, right? It's unmotivated Ursula, so her object is a piece of cheese because we're going to motivate her to get it together. Come on, Ursula. It's so cheesy. So there we go. So, oh, look at, we have collected all of our objects. We have vanquished all of our assessment assassins that have overtaken the gear offices. And we're going to click next to receive our reward. Oh my goodness, congratulations. Look at us. We have won. We have vanquished our foe. And we can click on this bag here to get our things. Now, what I'm going to actually do. Hold on. I don't know how to get out of what I'm in. It's not letting me leave. Okay. Julie, I tried to make it into a template and the link would not work.
Oh,
So,
okay.
So for now, it is still this. I'm going to click on that, make it copy. And when you do that, it's going to pop. I don't know what's happening right now.
I think I saw it hit F11.
There we go.
there you go.
F11, thank you. Oh, lovely. So when you click on it, what you're actually going to wind up with is this nice little, and here I will actually just send it to you all in the chat for now. You'll wind up with this lovely resource that you can add to your own Google Drive, and it has each of the assassins. It's got their description, and then it has a series of resources available, right? So, and I put that link in the chat so everyone can make a clean copy of their own. It'll add it directly to your drive if there's a place that you want to save it. Otherwise, you can always just search for your assessment bag of tricks, right? And so if you take a look here for Assessment Alexis, if you find yourself really interested in spending time thinking about assessment, there are many ways to get involved, right? So joining CART, looking into being a department assessment coordinator, or looking through being a part of the student affairs work group are some really great outlets for you. We have the ADAPT form, which is if you need help, if you're confused, reach out to Roxanne and I. We are here to help you. This form will actually send us an email letting us know you need help, and it'll give us some times that you're available. There's, Darcy. Oh, go ahead, Roxanne.
Yeah, we can help with a lot of different things. So you don't have to be a department assessment coordinator or a department chair to reach out. Any person in this meeting can reach out to a developer, and it could just be something. I've worked with people on how to find the ILOs on Canvas. I've worked with folks on deciding which of the student learning outcomes in a particular course they want to assess. I've helped develop the assessment tools. I've looked at exams and I've looked at activities and helped to make them a little bit more robust or easier to assess. I've helped submit the form or find a form that has been previously submitted. So Karen and I can really help on any level, big or small. And sometimes it's just nice to have an outside perspective. I love listening to someone from nutrition and I learn about nutrition as I'm helping to do assessment. So I can kind of take on that student perspective of someone who's not an expert in your particular area and give that feedback from the perspective of a student learning this, or what things might be missing from that level of it. So really, we're here to help, and it's our favorite part of the job. So I wanted to make sure that we highlight it. We put in a special plug because we love working one-on-one and in small groups with faculty and staff to help you with your assessment journey.
And I'm just going to jump really quick, and I know that Roxanne just mentioned staff, but yes, this doesn't have to just be on the faculty side. If you're interested as to how I might do this from a staff perspective, all of these same skills are transferable. It's just a question of, you know, talking through some of those questions about, well, what is it you want students to learn, and how might you know, and all of that.
Absolutely. And again, this has in there, there's a link to join our assessment awareness course. This is a level 1 basic course on Canvas that is designed for faculty, staff, and students, so that we all as a community get to have a shared language or a shared basic foundation for what assessment looks like here at GCC, and also kind of across the board. So things like formative versus summative assessment, you know, plan, do, study, act. So thinking about the assessment cycle. Another resource here is our Gaucho page, right? Like when in doubt, Gaucho is a great starting point. Roxanne and I are great starting points. We can do a personalized tour of Gaucho if you ever want, but we do offer a lot of different resources. And then, you know, obviously lots of collaboration opportunities here. The CTL blog, Ever Wonder Why Assessment, right? This is a great entry by Julie that kind of helps for those phone it in Phillips. Maybe they need a little extra motivation. And then last but not least, for our unmotivated Ursulas in the world, like for when she gets in the way, we have a couple of different pieces here, right? So we have the HLC guiding values, which sort of gives a bigger picture about what HLC is looking for when it comes to assessment, which actually align with our own GCC mission, vision, and plan, the learning environment. And then last but not least, if you look at our assessment strategic strategies, which are available on the Gaucho page, you can see kind of how all of that blends in together. So if nothing else, we have that like sort of dangling cheese of, because this is why. So yeah, so that is sort of it. As far as, you know, there was a question in the chat about what to do next or what to do with this. Honestly, if I were you, if it were me, I would go back, refresh this page and go back and kind of play around in those wrong answers, right? Share this with other folks so they can get their assessment bag of tricks. Don't just share the link with them for the resource, make them earn it. They have to vanquish some foes. But bottom line is what we really want is for folks to have those resources at hand. And it was just kind of a fun and silly way of introducing some of the barriers that we kind of create ourselves to assessment, right? Because that's really what it is the assassins are of our own making in many ways. And so here are some ways to sort of combat them and sort of stay focused on the bigger picture, which is fulfilling our commitment to students. So with that, we have about 5-6 minutes. Are there any questions that anyone has about either us as assessment developers or the assassins or assessment or any? It's no holds bar. What do you got? What do you want to ask us about? How can we help you? I'll stop sharing my screen.
Yeah, and as you're thinking of questions, you may have seen on Busy Betty that Fall Assessment Day is one of the ways to combat your busy schedule and to overcome the confusion you might have around assessment. So the fact that you're here right now listening to this is taking one step forward. You're devoting some of your time to assessment, and hopefully we're helping to reinforce the idea that a little bit helps, that attending 30 minutes of an assessment activity is helping you to vanquish these assassins, and carving out even just a little bit of time into your schedule for assessment helps you to take that step forward to learn more of what you need to do and to educate yourself a little bit more and to give yourself some more tools. So that's why we're here.
And this is all very meta in that this escape game model comes from Christina Clark has used this as an assessment in her classes. It's a nice review. It's a nice formative assessment in many ways because students have to work their way through to get to the end. So, okay, now I'll shut up and let you have questions.
I will throw out there, and I know because we keep saying questions and we keep saying, no, we're going to talk over your possible questions, but you can come to Karen or Roxanne with, I want to do something and I have no idea where to start. All the way to like, I need to put the final touch on this report that I've totally done and written. And so there's like no question too big, like if you're like, sure, I went to, the first half hour session, I still don't really have any idea what I'm doing. It's okay. That's the whole purpose of the role of the two of them, is to simply sit down and talk with you. And they may not even start using the term assessment. They might say, what is something you want your students to know that you think they don't know? Let's go from there. So yeah, it's really nice. I will give a quick shout out because Karen went in and added all of that Halloween theme to that design once we put the theme of this together. So special just for you.
It was a little extra. I probably could have spent that time doing other things, but I was like, no, we're going to theme this out. And yeah, and Roxanne helped me come up with costumes because I didn't want to do any costumes that were like potentially like too far. I don't know. It was a whole thing. It was very fun. But the most fun we have, honestly, though, is working with all of you. Like it is the best part of our time together. Yeah. So the ghost of the merman, right? The merman really did it for me. Like he was my favorite one to put together. So
I was a pretty big fan of the astronaut with a rocket ship on her flip chart. I want to now create more flip charts with rockets. I think that'll really help us.
For sure. And honestly, like if it's something even like this, if you wanted to sit down and have somebody walk you through how to create a review game like this, that's something that we can do. I can actually send you this template and you can modify content, right? Like there's lots of that's what I should do actually, is I should recreate a blank template that I can share with folks.
I would love that.
And I should mention, as we're talking about like all the things that developers can do for you, you might just say, so we talked about it in the space of like what I call big A assessment, formal assessment, like maybe you're doing a report, maybe or whatever. But if you want to say like, I just need to find a good way to do an assessment with my students to check to see if they learned. The CTLE can do that, they can do that. So yeah, so if it has anything to do with student learning, you can go to them. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I have a report to file or I need to do a project. I mean, they're experts in all of this and they can just brainstorm ideas with you of different ways that might be helpful. And if you're interested in that topic, let me give a little plug for the noon session in the CTLE and also online on formative assessment, where that's really what we're going to talk about. Like, how do you do fun things, different things to engage students to check their learning so that you can do that improvement of learning in the moment outside of maybe some larger, more complicated student learning improvement project. So yes, and we are kind of at the end of our time here. We'll be lurking as we get ready for our 10 o'clock session with Megan Kennedy, where she'll talk about how to actually write a very strong, accessible learning outcome, because there's lots of different ways you can do that for any space that you are in. And other than that, I am going to put back into the chat the link to the Gaucho Assessment Day site, where all of these resources will be posted by next week. Oops, I forgot the G. Well, pretend the G is there. And here's the participation form. Make sure at some point by the end of the day that you submit that form and let us know you participated. And it is also our way of assessing the effectiveness of Fall Assessment Day, so we can bring better programming to you. And I want to give a big thank you to Karen and Roxanne, not only for all of your work, but of course the presentation today, and all of those of you who came to join us. And thank you very much. And we'll take a little 5-minute break. You're welcome to stay and talk, or just we'll be back at 10 o'clock with Megan Kennedy.